So, what I have for you today is a conversation about what's happening with how we approach marketing at Limitless Women. And we do some things a little bit different, as you know, right? Because you've been hanging out with me for a little while. I want you to know that when you are looking at your own marketing, there's the things that you know from I'm supposed to be posting on social media, I'm supposed to be doing this stuff. The reality is that's not going to be the thing that's going to help you get sales. And everything that we do here is we want to focus on having you get profitable as quickly as possible. And we want you to then use those profits for purpose, which you guys know I'm kind of preaching to the choir. The principle of Limitless Women is that when a woman builds a business that is profitable, she can give to herself and then give to others from the overflow. That's what I want you guys to understand. That focus on marketing is not the way marketing is taught in many places, which is one of the reasons why I created this presentation for you. I want you guys to understand that if you actually approach your marketing, and this goes back to what you were saying a few minutes ago, Kendra, as an act of service, as an act of love. If you guys can remember when we were together at the Flow Retreat talking about sales with ease and how every sales conversation is an opportunity to be in deep service. It's a very sacred opportunity with people. I want that shift to happen for you here, because what happens when you don't have that is it feels like a burden. It feels like an obligation instead of something you get to do. So what we look at in Limitless Women is how can our marketing actually add tremendous value to build trust and to build a relationship, whether or not that client or that prospect becomes a partner down the road. With me? Okay, so here's your menu. I'm going to give you a menu today of some of the things I want you to be focused on. And I'm hoping, Kendra, this will be somewhat helpful when you look at your year at a glance calendar, right? You're like, where am I going to put these things? You're not going to do all things at the same time because we're human and none of us have a marketing team of 300 people to do it all for us, right? So you want to look at is what can I do now? How can this be gentle? How can it actually work for my business in a way that doesn't stress me out? And what's the right mix for me? I think that's one of the things that's like just being gentle with yourself in the process is super important. Am I sharing my screen? I feel like I'm sharing my screen. Are you guys seeing my screen? Yeah? Are you guys seeing my screen? No? Maybe not. Maybe I have to start over again. That could be the problem, right? How about now? Can you see it now? Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, Toria. All right. So now that I'm sharing my screen, we'll have to kind of start over here and we'll catch this. But to recap what I was just talking about, this training is for you to really look at what are the marketing activities that you need to be focused on daily, weekly, monthly in a way that is gentle for your nervous system, but also has consistency. And I think that's one of the things that's the hardest part is like the starts and stops. Are you with me? Like where you're like, you get excited, you do a whole bunch of stuff, you're really enthusiastic, and then it's like, life is lifing, and then you get taken out of the game. What we teach here, and I want you guys to go back to this if you haven't watched or listened to my recording on how to create 4 months worth of content in a day. I'm literally getting ready to fly back to Sedona to do this again in 2 weeks in the midst of life is lifing, because it's so powerful for me as a person who loves to travel to get a big chunk of stuff done at one time. I want you to do your business in the way that feels right for you. Some of you love to create daily. I'm not that kind of person. I need a lot of space for creativity, but I do know that marketing is super important. And the principle for this, and thank you for your patience while I reiterate that for you, those of you that have been with me for a little while, is that this is a core philosophy. This is not a one and done kind of thing. Marketing is something that you get to do, not something that should be a burden for you. And sometimes it feels burdensome because we put ourselves under so much pressure. I want this conversation today to be a way to have you have less pressure and to understand that here, what we stand for is you being profitable, you having not only financial freedom, but time freedom and emotional freedom that comes from being able to take care of yourself, the people you care about, and those you want to give to above and beyond that you get to when you're profitable, right? So everything you want to do in this conversation is really focus. Is this activity going to drive the results that I want, that I said was important to me? So those of you that have gone through foundation training with me, you understand we've got your assets. Those lead to your brand. Your brand is an integral part of building a business plan. And then when you have a plan, you've got to do the actions every day, right? So what I want you to do is think about, are the actions you're taking congruent with inviting the people you really want to work with into your world in a way that's so aligned with the vision, the mission, and the purpose of your business. With me? Okay. So what today's conversation is about is your marketing menu, not everything all at once, but which things feel congruent for you right now. What do you want to focus on? And then the things that feel like, that might be good for me down the road, right? Kendra, we're talking about joint ventures, alliances, strategic partnerships. I think you can do all of these great things in your business. In fact, I know you can because I've done it myself, but it doesn't happen all at once, right? We want to find what's the consistency, what's the rinse and repeat that I can encourage you to be taking every day in your business, the days that you're working, in a way that feels fluid and gentle. I'm going to keep coming back to that, you guys, because this is a place that I've struggled and spent so much time and so much money really trying to fill into, like, how do I create a system so I don't have to think about it? Well, if you want to grow your company, you're always going to be thinking about your company, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody on this call wakes up and thinks about their lives. They think about what, hopefully we're in our gratitude practice or our time with God. And then when we get to work, we're thinking about, okay, what am I needing to do right now? What does my business need from me? What I want you to do is shift that a little bit and think, who can I serve today? Who's the person out there? It could be one human, right? So the idea of, like, I don't have a big enough list to accommodate the vision that I have for all these things. It starts with one. It starts with serving one human, and then one human becomes two people, becomes three people, becomes five people. You don't build $1 million business overnight. It takes a little bit of time and practice, but the more you stay in service, the more purposeful you are. I think, just in my own experience and with all the women that I've worked with over the last decade, that's a sweet spot. You want to actually have a plan that feels authentic to you and feels really congruent to the service that you're here to do, right? There you are, Brittany, cutie pie. All right. So
Oh,
everything in our world is based on relationships. Everything. And I've got to tell you, I was in a sales training the other day. It was interesting. I was in a sales training right after I'd given you guys sales training at the Flow Retreat with a different guy he has a sales team and large organizations and blah, blah, blah. And of the group, they were like, everybody was struggling so much, and I wasn't struggling so much, not because I've got it all figured out, but I can tell you that this is the part that I know as I know, as I know, as I know, as much as I know that my hair is red, right? Like, I know that meaningful connections in authentic relationships are the secret sauce to a highly profitable business and to a really fulfilling life, right? I mean, we talk about how I want you to not just build your business to build your business. I want you to build your life first and then figure out where your business feeds that. Where does your business fit in, right? Instead of everything I do has to, drive to this. How do you take care of yourself first? And to me, being with you guys is that piece, right? Like, being able to be in this love fest of our community. So many women I meet don't have this. They don't have access to girlfriends who know what it feels like to be in the trenches. So I want you to think about, in your own work, whether you're working with people one-on-one or you're offering group opportunities, where can you provide even more opportunity for deeper relating and deeper relationships? And hold your questions, your comments, and your thoughts to the end, because I'm going to run through these slides, and then I'll turn off this recording for the podcast episode, and then you and I will go into whatever you guys have with going on in your own companies. So the basic piece that I use to build Limitless Women today, and I have to tell you, when we moved from Infusionsoft over to Go High Level, you guys have heard me say this before, we'd had 25,000 people come through our email list at that point. I promise you, we did not have social media, you guys. I have no idea how we got to all this big number of humans. And all I can tell you is that my biggest clarity on how to pay this forward to you is the power of networking. In 2011, I met Sandra Yancey, the founder of eWomen Network. I joined eWomen and I started going to their events, and I started flying around and going to other events. I'm not saying that you guys have to do that. You live in a city. I lived out in Cornville. All right. So it was like, if I wanted to get connected to other humans, I had to do that. Now the internet has grown quite, there's way, way cooler ways to be connected with people than having to get on a plane every time. But I will tell you that if you can commit to consistent networking. And everybody that lives in Austin who's a woman needs to be at least once or twice going to Creative Collective, visiting with Tori and Bridget, feeling into that community. And even, here's one of the things you can do there. And this has just came to me as a more mature person. I mean, to me, I feel like there's such a great opportunity for that growing community to be a mentor and to be of service and to love on this next emerging group of women. And in those rooms, when I go there, I meet other legacy focused, mature women as well. The pictures, it's Tori and Bridget are young and beautiful, and you'll see them and they kind of attract this younger crowd, but that's not everybody in the room. So you can know who your people are, and then you can figure out again how to have a conversation, how to build that next level of conversation. The best advice I can tell you is to get out of the house. Get out of the house, get in rooms with other people. And if it's not easy for you, do it in a way that's gentle, right? We don't, if you guys know this, after all these years, I don't speak for breakfast. I've spoken for breakfast one time because my son asked me to do it for a physician who was his mentor. So I had to go spend the night in the hotel the night before so I could wake up at the hotel where the event was because I'm just not a morning person, right? So outside of that, what I can do is lunches. What I can do is like early evenings. I don't do late nights. I'm just, it's not my season of life. So find the thing that works for you and tap into it. And I would just say, meeting people, having fun with them instead of actually having it be a burden, right? Like, how can you look forward to this? We have a client. We just did a podcast interview with her. Name is Shelley Howard. When she came to work with me, this is literally her entire marketing was this. She went out and networked 4 days a week. She lived in Orange County at the time. I'm not sure if she's there now. She's still in California, but she literally just went from every chamber of commerce to all these different towns. And she built her business to multiple six figures just by going out saying, this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for. This is what my company does. Who do you know? And then because she's a generous person, she'd be like, how can I help you? Right. And it's just the power of this. I don't want to make the whole call about this, but I've got to tell you, this is probably one of the most overlooked strategies in our community that I want to see more of you taking advantage of because it costs you your time. And when you start your business and you're kind of getting emerging, you're getting going, you often have way more time than you have money. When you get a little farther down the road, you have more money, you don't have as much time, right? So these two things have a dance. I want you to be thinking about where can you be out and be curious and connect with people. What you need when you show up besides your beautiful self is some way for people to stay in touch with you. Now, we live today in the world of technology. People are sharing phone numbers. That's great. But if you're doing that, remember to follow up. So when you're connecting with someone, like if I meet somebody at Creative Collective and I get their number, I don't want to just get their number. I want to get their number and then I want to get an appointment. I want to say, when would you like to talk this week or next? I'd love to know more about you. There's 50 people here. I'd love to know how I can connect you, who I can introduce you to. Do you want to get on a quick call and make that happen? You can schedule that right then. Right with me, do that now. If you're going to use business cards, because I'm getting ready to go to the e-women conference, right? There'll be hundreds of women there. One of my strategies is that my business card has my picture on it. I just have a picture of me. That's literally my business card. The back has my contact information, but it's just a picture of me. And over the years, people have said to me, you've been sitting on my desk for years. And I'm like, that's pretty fascinating. There's power in that for you. Doesn't have to be complicated. It can be super simple. Less is more, right? If you're trying to position yourself as a speaker, and I know some of you are, the piece that you want to have is either a one sheet that has a breakdown, and just Google this and ask me when we do our one-on-one stuff, if you need help around this, what goes on that page. I'm happy to talk to you about it. But again, less is more. There's a whole thing. You can have a speaker page on your website when you get a little farther around, but you want to let people know what value are you bringing to the party, right? Tori, you can go to my page and find my speaking topics, but what's more important when I come and speak to your audience is, what are they looking for, right? Have super simple ways for people to get connected to you. The next thing I want to talk to you about is having a system for referrals. Those of you that are in programs have heard me say this to you. We love your introductions. They are not always a match, right? Because we do a lot of one-on-one, very personalized work in our community. But if they are a match, we're going to take care of them and love on them the way that we love on you, right? What do you have in place for people that you've worked with to encourage them to bring you other people? How do you reward them? How do you thank them? Right? Have something in place where you have a system for referrals. If you want more help with this, again, I'm happy to do another training or a deeper training on referral systems. But I will say to you again, it just starts with you setting the intention. And if it's something you're like, when am I going to fit that in? I want you to look at your calendar. When can you put this in your calendar? Now, workshops and seminars, you can start off small, right? Kendra, this thing we're talking about, it's not about having 100 people in the room. Every year we have Limitless Women. I'm like, my target is 100 women. Sometimes we have 40 women. Sometimes we have 70 women. Sometimes we've had as many as 120 women, but I have to set a target, right? And you can start with 10. We just had an event, several of you were at, we had the flow retreat. We're like, we cap at 12. That's our max capacity. And when we were all said and done, there was 10 of us there. It was beautiful. It was just the right number. Right? Decide what's right for you. And the other thing you might consider is tapping into other people's audiences. So this is a way to do this. Rather than hosting the party yourself, you can be a sponsor at someone else's event if they have your audience. Right? If they have your audience and you look at what it costs you to host the party and do the food and get the venue and do the decorations and do the gifts, if somebody else is willing to host that party, I want you to think about the value of that, but make sure you tie into a partnership with that other person or that other host to find out exactly what that room is looking for so you can bring the value to them. Okay. The beauty of you getting on a stage and teaching something like I'm doing with you right now is that it positions you as a person of credibility. There's so many people out there struggling with, I'm not good enough, or someday when I get farther along, or I'm not, whatever all the trauma is, right? I will say to you, you know one thing that you're great at. That's why you're in business. Teach that one thing and spin it with different language. If you look at my first book that came out in 2012, which is the chapters are The Power of 1 Minute, Overflowing Abundance, Walking in Faith. When we moved to a more business focused training with what's grown into Limitless Women, we took those exact same principles and we taught master your minutes, right? Power of 1 Minute, master your minutes. We taught master your money. Instead of overflowing abundance, master your money. Get the idea? We taught your concept is your concept. So what you teach is what you teach, but you can repackage it and test it in the marketplace and see what's resonant for your audience. Make sense? Is this helpful for anybody besides me? I'm hoping. Yes. Okay, cool. Your website is not something to be ashamed of. It is not something to have as a billboard. It is a vehicle for action. So if you do nothing else from what I talked to you about on this call today, please have on your homepage right at the top above the fold some type of opportunity for the person who visits to grab something for free. This goes back to what I was saying to you, Brittany, about what can you do? What can you give them? What can you test? And how do you actually integrate your brand Bible? This is, if you've been through foundations with me, this is why this is on here. Your website should reflect your values and attract the clients who are your ideal people, right? You want to be talking to, this place is for you. You've landed in the right place if you're looking for X, Y, or Z, right? In our world, if you're a spiritually connected woman who really wants to build a business that's profitable so you can give to yourself and others, we want you to know that right when you get to the top. Okay. You want to have it super simple. Go over here and get a free thing. Are you missing money? Are you struggling with time? These are the two challenges most of the women in our world face. Go here and find out how to get help. Click here. Here's a free gift for you right now. All right. Doesn't have to be complicated, but I got to tell you, if that's all you had on your website, you'd be better off than most people, because most people just have education and it's not really helpful to the people who are coming because they're not calling them to action. All right. So once you have your foundation places, your pieces in place, and you've gotten really clear about your ideal client, you've got your packaging, your pricing together, you've uncovered and discovered and crafted a brand Bible, and you've got a plan of action, What the daily activities are, daily, weekly, and monthly, is going to be building your relationships at scale. And this is one of the things I'll tell you. It doesn't have to be complicated. Less is more. What we find that works the best in our world right now is either a static post with long form copy for the right people that want to read it, with a photograph, not with a Canva thing, not with a bunch of logos, not with a bunch of, AI images, but just a photograph of an experience that has good energy, right? That's the first thing that we do. The second thing that does well is, while I'm doing this right now with you guys, I'm training. We take this, if we figured out how to record this, where you just get my face, we pop it into our AI editor, and I can give it the command to give me some shorts. So little short videos that are just clips of me talking. It might be a 30-second clip. It might be a 60-second clip of me here messing with my hair. Those things work really, really well on social with content underneath that's going to have a call to action. So add value to people and then invite them to take the next step. So articles, videos, you can recycle stuff. So if you, again, I keep driving you back to this other video, but I'll tell you the system for how to create a bunch of content at one time so you have time freedom is a lifesaver for me as a business owner. So revisit that if you haven't done that. Create your videos, use the audio for podcast, use the clips for social media. Take the transcription. Right now, while I'm doing this, we're recording, we're transcribing. Take the transcription and feed that into your LLM to help you craft authentic email copy and social media posts that you can use again and again. And don't be afraid to use your stuff over and over. I promise you, they're not seeing it. Okay. Life is full. You think, oh my gosh, I've posted the same thing twice. Nobody cares. I give you my word. All right. So social media strategy is, you want to be where your people are. If you are a more personal brand, you want to put your focus on Facebook and Instagram. If you are more business brand, you want to be focused on LinkedIn. Now, the other thing is, you want to know the ages of your people. I will tell you, it's fascinating to me how many grandmas are now on Facebook, right? It's fascinating. All the grandparents are on Facebook now. All the young folks are still hanging out at TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, so I can't give you advice about that. I think it's a great platform for the people that it's great for. But I just have to tell you that LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram give us enough traffic and enough views that we have our hands full with that. Okay. So choose what's right for you. Now, podcasting, as I'm saying to you this, we're going to make a podcast episode out of this training just because it's a good training. We're hoping it's helpful for people. You want to be on other people's podcasts. You want to position yourself as an expert. It's one of the fastest ways to tap into other people's audiences. It exists today in the way that back in the day when I first started doing this work, traveling around and going and speaking in little networking, right? Like I would go and speak at a lunch and learn. I'd go and speak at a Rotary. I'd go speak wherever they would have me. I'm just speaking anywhere. And that gave me exposure to audiences. Podcasts can do that for you from the comfort of your own home, which is really a cool thing. And you can either use Sales Navigator. This is just a super tip alert because I've just been doing it myself. If you go into Sales Navigator and which is on LinkedIn, and you ask it for people that are specifically in your avatar and what you're looking for. So I'll use an example. This week, I went into my Sales Navigator and asked for spiritually connected women business owners with podcasts. Right. And I just kept adding words, right? So I started with women business owners. Then I started like spiritually connected women business owners with a podcast. I got 261 out of the billion people that are there. Right. So you want to tighten up who you're asking for. But then that gave me a set to do a little research on and say, okay, who has a podcast that I'd be a good guest for, that I might want to have as a guest on my podcast? Now, I'm not suggesting that you guys all get out and start producing a podcast if you don't already have it, because it can be a lot of work. But once you get the systems in place, it's like having your own stage. You don't have to have a whole lot of people to be able to invite someone, Kendra, to say, hey, come and speak to my audience. I'll market to my audience and send out an email on your behalf. I'll let people know that you're doing this. I'd love to have you as a guest. Again, 3 people might come, 6 people might come. The person who's coming in to share their wisdom is thrilled. They get free exposure, right? You're giving them an opportunity, right? So formal speaking engagements, when you get hired for speaking at events, again, there's a whole lot of this stuff, Tori, of like, people get paid to speak. Sure, they do. They do get paid to speak, and a whole lot of times they speak for free. So just know that that doesn't really mean much of anything. What it is that you're wanting to, in your own business, think about how can you get yourself in front of audiences from the front of the room. You can start by speaking at local events. You can go to conferences and you can pay to be a speaker there. There's lots of different things you can do, but every speaking opportunity, including podcast, helps build your credibility. It gives you opportunity to be connected to somebody else's audience. With me? Okay, cool. Now, after you've got all these things in place, only after you have these things in place, then you want to start having the conversation about using an accelerator. Now, an accelerator is when you want to pay for traffic. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it here because most of the women in my community are not ready for this. If you haven't broken $100,000 in sales, you have no business advertising. That's just my experience. I believe that what you want to do is figure out what's working organically before you start pouring money into it. Get a proven concept, get yourself out there in service with your ideal clients, get a rinse and repeat system that can then be delivered by somebody else. Then you're ready to scale. But doing paid advertising before is a really, really expensive way to figure out what's working. I'd much rather have you guys use organic traffic and use the opportunity you have for free. I mean, it's really an incredible opportunity. All right. So your 90-day plan, if you choose to accept it, is to choose one strategy of what I've shared with you. And I've been recording this for you, so you'll have it. This could be saying, okay, I'm going to now put into my marketing calendar, where can I network? I'm going to go and hang out with Tori and Bridget and go to Creative Collective. I might find where the nearest eWomen network is. I might go to a NABO luncheon. I might go to Texas Women in Business, wherever your people are, right? Try to figure out where you can do this and find out where they're having their parties and just get that into your calendar, right? So maybe if they're meeting once a month and you could make it to 6 of the things, great, but get it in your calendar now, right? You can move it if you need to. If you have clients and you find that you're looking for new clients and you haven't asked your existing clients, why are they working with you and how did they find you? Go and ask them for that, right? Find out, do a little research and find out what they're looking for, who else they know, and how you can earn their business. Again, when you have a meaningful connection, this piece becomes really easier. Now, I would say the amplifier strategy for you from an organic perspective, and this is something that you can do, Brittany, just getting started right now, is what can you be teaching that you already know? Just like me saying, okay, this has been my experience. We've been marketing, we've been in business for over 10 years. This is how we built this. This is how we built that. We've done the advertising. We've done a lot of different things. This is what's actually worked to build authentic connections that lead to deep partnerships, because I'm not in it for somebody coming with a $47 thing. I'm looking for who are my business partners that I can have a long-term relationship with. And I just have to say to you guys, if you're not doing that, you're missing the boat, in my opinion, because the people that you love, that you get to be in connection with, like, that's your business. You actually get paid to be of service, doing what you're great at with people you love to be with. All right. So help them find you. They're not going to find you when you're hanging out at home. Right? So this is what social media is great for. This is what networking is great for. This is what referrals are great for. Who else do you know? So Brittany, when your people are saying, hey, I'd like this, but I'm in, Minnesota right now, you're like, great, no problem. This is what we do for people in Minnesota for right now. Who else do you know that needs to have this information? Please share this email with them. Okay. Give them my number. Love to have a conversation when it makes sense for them, right? And you want to use your calendar. You guys have heard me say this. You've been hanging out with me for a while, to break things down into chunks, right? So what would be the one thing you're going to do and really focus on for 90 days? Not forever and ever, but just until you can get it up and systemized where it becomes a normal habit for your business. All right. So going forward, if you are listening to this as a recording or watching it on YouTube, if we figure out how to get that going, and you are under $100,000, please come and join us at our foundations workshop. You can go to stophustling.com to go there. There's a free version. We're hosting that multiple times a year. What I know is this: every woman has to have her foundations in place. Otherwise, she's doing the wrong activities, or she's doing the right activities in the wrong order. If you find value in what we teach in foundations, and we invite you to have a conversation, we have a business accelerator to help you hit that first $100,000. It's not a place to stop, but it's definitely a place to get to if you haven't gotten there yet, right? Now, if you want to go further than that, we have our Legacy Leaders programs. This is where we help you scale and grow. You don't want to be focused on scaling and growing, my loves, until you've got your foundations in place, until you have consistent recurring revenue. And I will just remind us again, to please be kind. There's a path for every stage. Every entrepreneur, myself included, who's been doing this for decades, had to start somewhere. So wherever you are, be kind with yourself, understand this is part of the process, be gentle, and get there. Your business is waiting for you. Don't make it so hard.
Are you a limitless woman? This is your personal invitation to learn how you can join our online community, grow through our business school, and play with us at our live events. Go to limitlesswomen.com for all the details. That's limitlesswomen.com. Thanks for joining us.